Okay, so our topic is compensation. My name is Yetzi.
My name is Magdalena.
And my name is Tan.
Okay, so what is compensation in HR? Compensation is monetary value given to employees in exchange for work performed. It is the financial value that is being given to workers in exchange for their labor, contribution, effort. So like their sweat, like if it's construction, it's like the labor they're doing, the input in a project, etc. It should be developed by a system to maintain internal and external equity. Internal means between other individuals in the same position. So to make sure that one isn't getting more than the other. Okay, next slide. So did you know there are different types of compensation? Primarily, there are two different types of compensation, which is, next slide, direct compensation is one of them. So it's the monetary payments in exchange for time worked. This can be thought about as cash that's being paid. So the hourly paid, some people are paid by the hour, salary, bonuses, and commission. So direct compensation consists of the financial exchange for the work. So think of this as different work for every work setting. It is not simple as there are no strings attached to this, and you get paid. So basically you get paid for what you do. The most common forms of compensation are the hourly, which is what most of us will receive, as we are mostly part-time workers or temporary workers. We are paid this in exchange for our time and labor. And then there's salary, which is what most of us will get after graduation. So it's mostly common upon management jobs and higher skilled workers. Primarily full-time workers are those who receive salary workers as well. So one example would be teachers. So bonuses as well, and commission. So most forms of compensation, of direct compensation that we see, are received via cash, direct deposit, or paychecks or pay stubs. Okay, and now with indirect compensation. Okay, so indirect compensation is a form of non-monetary pay offered to employees. So quote unquote employee benefits. Health insurance, pension funds, childcare, and like company cars are examples of that. It is a form of compensation where you are not being handed cash. This form of compensation is received indirectly. So it helps you out financially, but you don't actually see the money. So some of them, like health insurance and childcare, are partly required by law. And so in the picture here, you could see like the company car, health insurance, and then the older couple walking upon the coins is like the pension funds. Some companies match your contributions. Okay, and then the next slide. So I included perks because this is becoming more common nowadays, where employees are looking into what the company offers. This is a form of indirect compensation as well. These are not usually stated as part of the job offer, but it is included once you are in the job because it, as I said, it's something that is becoming much more common, and it's what's differentiating good companies from others. The intent of this is to create loyalty, increase productivity, and decrease the attrition rate. Workers are attracted to companies that offer these types of perks because it shows that they care about their employees. So in the pictures, you can see like the snack bar on the upper left picture, and then below it, there's like a gaming room. There's gyms, there's cafeterias, and then the little hot air balloon is just Google has a theme towards every country that they have their offices in, and they customize it towards that. Okay, and then the next slide. This is just an example of some tech companies and what they offer. So some have gyms. Facebook has a laundry service for its employees, massages, haircuts, and it's to attract to keep the workers in and keep them happy. Okay, and then the next slide.
So a compensation system is used to determine the appropriate monetary values exchange for the employee's work performance. Some common components of compensation system are a job description, which is the written form of a job responsibility, requirements, function, location, environments, and much more. Job analysis, such as interviews, questionnaire, observation, and job evaluation, as in comparing jobs to determine the right amount of compensation for an individual job or the job element. Pay structure, such as salary or wages, and policy and regulation that are enforced, such as Fair Labor Standard Acts. Next one, please. And some common practices that companies' human resource department use for compensation are to recruit and retain employees, as it can be expensive to train new hires, or increase and maintain morals to keep a friendly environment for everyone, and to encourage and reward good performances so that the positive result will always shows, and to increase and manage company loyalty. Next one.
How was compensation created? The origin of compensation is that it's been around since 2050 BC during Mesopotamia times, and it was benefiting workers who suffered from severe injuries. And then after centuries passed, America was able to pass workers' compensations in all states by 1948, but Wisconsin was actually the first state to pass workers' compensation. And this started off as a legislation that would cause employees to forfeit their rights to sue by accepting benefits. So although they got their compensation, they also lost their right to sue. Like, say if they got injured in the workplace, they weren't able to sue the company because they gave their rights off to get the compensation. But now compensation benefits both the employees and also the company, because it makes sure that the businesses are also protected in whatever happened. Factors that influence compensation, they're internal and external. The internal factors are job appraisals, employee performances, and employee experience. So this is what makes up your compensation. So as long as you have a good job appraisal, you have a great performance, and you have good experience in the job, you will most likely get a really good compensation package. But if it's the opposite, you might be getting something that you don't really want. And for external factors, is compensation really all depends on the labor market, the economic conditions, and especially where you're living. Say if you live in New York City, it can be quite challenging because the prices are a lot higher than, say, in Texas or other cities like that. So it really just depends on these three factors to determine your compensation. And the benefits of compensation is that it increases many factors that creates a healthy workplace. It can increase employee motivation and loyalty. And this obviously leads to productivity, which also leads to higher productivity in the whole workplace. And having happy employees, great job satisfaction, creates a workplace that keeps employees at the company and doesn't have high turnover rates, because having employees that love their job makes more people want to come to the company and work for them. And then how to become a benefit manager and compensation. The requirements is to at least have a bachelor's degree in business management, business administration, or finance, and to have at least 5 years of related work experience, either in HR, business management, or finance. And it is usually preferred to have an MBA in human resource management because you are more experienced, and you also get the more work experience as well because you're able to work with HR and business management. And then the task for a compensation manager is to provide advice to employees about compensation and benefits. It also to prepare budgets and work within a set budget. And it is to create solutions for compensation related issues and incentive plans. And it also ensures compliance with federal and state law regulations. And this is an example of a compensation packet. You can see that it is sort of a statement letter that explains your current benefits, direct pay, and tax savings while being at the company. So you can see in the picture is all the different pre-tax contributions and what tax savings you'll be saving, and the exact direct compensation with also benefits and also tax savings. And this all depends on, like I said, your experience, your performance, and how much you're really giving into your own job.
Yes, and some tips on scoring a great compensation is during an interview process, you can negotiate for your compensation and what you think is the best for you. And by doing that, you can mention your experiences and skills, such as your education or anything that you learn that can help with that job. And if you were to ask for a new compensation, you can dependent on your employees' performances, such as accomplishment, like what you have put into that job since you were hired, and your relationship with your supervisor can really help you score a great compensation. Next slide, please. Compensation plans help the company stay focused on what is suitable for its employees by creating an outline that allows all to understand where and how they will be compensated for their performance. To create this compensation plans, most common way to develop a program that set the company objectives, targets, and budget. Designated qualified manager are to oversee these programs, and manager will conduct many studies to determine the appropriate compensation for employees depending on their work performances. And they are responsible for creating compensation philosophy to help the company keeps an inviting image. Conducting job analysis and evaluate jobs can also help the compensation department determine the correct prices for each jobs. These are just some ways compensation department can plan out how to distribute compensation and stay organized within a company. There are many other ways to compensate employees, and depending on the company's situation, they may not follow all that's listed on the slide. Next, please.
Yeah, and finally, am I getting a good offer? So how would you know if you're getting a good offer? Is if the offer includes guaranteed pay, so salary and allowances, variable pay, and then the description, has the benefits and equity compensation. So that would include like the PTO or maternity leave, workers' comp. Those are some examples of what would be included. And then, so always remember that you can negotiate your offer. If you don't like it, you can make statements regarding your skills or how you stand out compared to other candidates and bring to the table. So a question you could ask, for example, if you're concerned about like the health insurance, you could be like, what are the out-of-pocket costs that would have to pay on top of that? So sometimes they have co-pays and stuff. And that's how you would be able to tell if you are getting a good offer.
And to conclude our presentation about compensation, we would like to remind everyone that compensation are heavily affected by the job description and your performances. So the next time when you get your paycheck, make sure you know how much your performance are worth to get best compensation for your work. Thank you.
Thank you.